Good morning, children. Welcome to Biology online class. Due to some technical problems, we lost the physics class. So tomorrow, sir will going to continue the same class, children. So don't bother about all those things. So sorry for the inconvenience. We lost the network due to some technical problems. We are getting some intervenings in meanwhile the class is going on. So okay. So last class we discussed about, and since last class we are discussing about the microbes in human welfare, and already I said that this chapter is very important for competitive and as well as PUC examination. The same time, in this chapter mainly you should focus on the examples of different type of organisms and their uses. These are very important, children, and many questions for in generally in competitive examinations are totally based on the examples of different type of microorganisms and their uses. So that's why please try to remember. So these are all the things whatever we are going to discuss about the uses. These are all we know in our daily life, but we don't know which type of microorganism is doing all those functions, but we are going to learn from this chapter all those things clearly. So microbes in human welfare, that is nothing but we are getting a lot of uses from the microorganisms. So which will be, all those things will be explained by this chapter especially we are going to discuss. In the last class we started discussing about microbes in household product. Within that we discussed about the preparation of the curd. So what about the curd and how it is nutritionally valuable, what type of vitamins are present, and which type of bacterium in generally which perform that conversion of milk into the curd. All those things we discussed in the last class. Lactobacterium, that is lactic acid bacterium, is responsible for the conversion of milk into curd. And not only that, we discussed about the process of conversion of milk into curd also we discussed in the last class. That is nothing but lactobacterium, that is lactic acid bacterium, which produces lactic acid. That lactic acid will be coagulate with the milk particle, and that lactic acid digests partially the milk, and that milk will be converted into the curd. And it is nutritionally more balanced and is highly nutritional, and it is rich in nutrition, children. In the last class itself we discussed it is rich in vitamin B12, so that's why it's a very important. So already we said in the last class itself. And not only that, that lactobacterium, while we are taking the curd, it will enter inside the stomach and it will check the disease causing microorganisms present in your stomach, and it will remove all such a type of microorganisms such as pathogens. So by that the health of the stomach will be also regulated easily. So that's why this lactobacterium is the most important bacterium in generally. So that is about the curd. In the last class itself we discussed about the fermented the dough of the idli and dosa. The puffed up appearance is due to the presence of more amount of carbon dioxide in that particular dough. Very important, children. The dough of the idli and dosa, it is having puffed up appearance because of the presence of more amount of carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide is produced by the fermentation process by different type of bacterium. So in the last class itself we discussed about all those things. And not only that, many of the microorganisms they used for the fermentation of fishes, bamboo shoots, and as well as soya beans. All these are used as a food in generally. These fermented fish and as well as soya beans and as well as bamboo shoot, these are furtherly used as a food. So this fermentation process is also takes place by different type of bacteria. And not only that, we discussed about the dough for preparation of bread. In generally, the bread in generally which is prepared from a fermented dough, it is also fermented. That particular dough of bread is also fermented by a yeast. It is actually a fungi. We already know that unicellular fungi, that is nothing but yeast. Its name was Saccharomyces cerevisiae. That particular yeast which is used for the preparation of bread is called as the yeast used for preparation of bread is called baker's yeast. Very, very important, children. The yeast which is used for light is okay sir, thank you. Okay na? Okay na? Right. Okay children, right. The yeast, that is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which is used for the preparation of bread, is called baker's yeast. Very, very important. Whatever the yeast which is used for the preparation of bread, that yeast is called as baker's yeast. This is very important. Again, we are going to discuss about the yeast which is used for preparation of wine. That type of yeast is different. Its name is different. Same yeast only, but in that particular process, the yeast name will be changed. That is nothing but brewer's yeast. Again, we are going to discuss the further. Okay, children. So this is about the preparation of bread. We are also for preparation of bread also. We are dependent upon the microorganisms. And now we are going to discuss about the preparation of cheese. Cheese is actually a oldest. It is a oldest food material. We already know that it's a oldest food item actually, which is also prepared by using different type of microorganism. And if you observe children, the type of cheese, many types of cheese are there around the world based on their flavor, texture, and as well as the taste. The flavor, texture, and as well as taste is totally dependent upon what type of microorganism is involved in ripening of the cheese. That is a very, very important point we should remember. Different type of cheese are available based on their texture and flavor, at the same time taste. It is totally dependent on type of microbe involved in ripening of cheese. This is very important point we should remember. Different type of microorganisms are there for the ripening of different type of cheese. That is nothing but preparation of different type of cheese is totally dependent upon the different type of microorganism which is involved in the ripening of the cheese. Best example to understand this example, Swiss cheese. Very, very important for competitive examination children. Swiss cheese has large holes. If you observe the Swiss cheese children, if you observe the texture of Swiss cheese, generally it is having lot of large holes. That large holes, it is having large holes because of more amount of carbon dioxide produced by, this is very important, Propionibacterium shermani. What is the name of the bacterium, children? Propionibacterium shermani. Very, very important for competitive examination. Generally, Swiss cheese is the very famous cheese, children. In generally, if you observe that cheese, it is having large holes. If you observe that particular cheese, that large holes are because of the production of more amount of carbon dioxide. That holes are produced by production of more amount of carbon dioxide, and that Swiss cheese is produced by, or it is generally produced by the action of this Propionibacterium shermani. Very, very important. In the synthesis of Swiss cheese or production of Swiss cheese, which type of bacteria or microorganism is involved? That is nothing but Propionibacterium shermani. Very, very important for competitive examination. Not only that, why Swiss cheese has large holes? Because of the presence of more amount of the carbon dioxide. That carbon dioxide is produced by Propionibacterium shermani. Very, very important for competitive examination, children. And not only that, another one more cheese is there. Its name was Roquefort cheese. Roquefort or Roquefort, simply we will call it as Roquefort cheese. This is the second example for the cheese. It is also called as sheep milk cheese in generally. Sheep milk cheese. Generally, this cheese is prepared from the sheep milk, and that sheep milk is that particular cheese is called as Roquefort, and it is produced by or synthesized by or in generally ripened by a fungi. This is very, very important. A fungi. Actually, Swiss cheese is produced by Propionibacterium shermani. It is a one type of bacteria. But come to the second one, Roquefort cheese. Generally, it is synthesized or produced by a particular fungi. Its name was Penicillium roqueforti. Very, very important. Penicillium roqueforti. Very, very important for competitive examination, children. So this is about the cheese, children. So different type of cheeses are available based on the texture, flavor, and as well as its taste. It's totally dependent upon the type of microorganism which is involved in the ripening of the cheese. We discussed about the examples, two examples for the cheese. One is Swiss cheese, another one is Roquefort cheese. Swiss cheese is generally produced by a bacterium called Propionibacterium shermani. It has large holes because of the presence of more amount. Because of production of more amount of carbon dioxide, it has large holes. Then what about Roquefort cheese? It is also called as sheep milk cheese. Generally, it is produced by a fungi called Penicillium roqueforti. Actually, it is a fungi. So that fungi is involved in the ripening of the sheep milk that into cheese. That cheese is called as Roquefort cheese. That's why it is called as Roquefort cheese. So this is about microorganisms are involved in production of household product. We discussed about the curd, we discussed about the dough of idli and dosa, and we discussed about the dough of bread. Yeast is generally involved in the preparation of fermentation of the dough of the bread. That yeast is called as baker's yeast. Saccharomyces cerevisiae, its scientific name. Generally, whatever the yeast which is used for the preparation of fermented dough for the bread is nothing but baker's yeast. Very, very important. Not only that, the microorganisms used for the fermentation of different type of fishes and as well as soya beans and as well as bamboo shoots, these are used as a food in different areas in general. Not only that, some of the microorganisms, they are involved in the ripening and as well as fermentation of different type of drinks. Say for example, a traditional drink in our southern states of India is nothing but toddy. Generally, the toddy is nothing but it is a fermented sap of the palm plants in general. So in generally the villagers, they used to take the sap from the palm trees, and that sap will be leave for the ripening. That ripening process is also done by the different type of microorganisms, and it will increase the alcohol percentage is present in that particular sap of the palm. So by that, it will be used as in many of the places in our South India, many of the people used to drink that toddy as a traditional drink. So all we discussed in the last class itself. And next we discussed about the cheese, different type of cheese. So we discussed about two types of cheese preparation, in generally which type of microorganism which is involved. These are very, very important for competitive examination, children. Remember one thing, Swiss cheese is Propionibacterium shermani, Roquefort cheese is Penicillium roqueforti. Swiss cheese has large holes, and Roquefort cheese is also called as sheep milk cheese. If you remember these things, these are very important, children. You will get compulsory good marks in the competitive and as well as PUC examination. So this is about the preparation of cheese and as well as microbes in household products. Now we are going to discuss about microbes in industrial products. Microbes in industrial products. Different type of microorganisms are used in the industry because to synthesize a number of products valuable to human beings, that is beverages and as well as antibiotics and different type of enzymes. Now we are going to discuss about different type of beverages and as well as antibiotics and as well as different type of enzymes. Production on an industrial scale requires growing microbes in a very large vessels. So in industries, in generally microorganisms are grows in generally in a particular large vessels called fermenters. So microbes in industrial products is nothing but, so many industries, different type of industries, microorganisms are used for the synthesis of, for the production of different type of antibiotics and as well as beverages and as well as enzymes, and these are used for different type of processes. And these, whatever the products we said now, beverages and as well as different type of antibiotics and enzyme, these products should be produced in a large scale, that is nothing but industrial scale. They should be produced in huge amount. So to produce in huge amount, the microorganism should be grown in a particular large vessels. That large vessels are called as fermenters. Large vessels are called as fermenters. To produce industrial scale or in huge amounts, to produce industrial scale, the microorganisms are grown in large vessels called fermenters. This is also very important for one mark question. What are the fermenters? Fermenters are large vessels. Generally they are sterilized. They don't have any other microorganisms, which means they are not having any septic condition. They are totally aseptic in condition. They are totally sterilized, and they are huge tanks. They are nearly, some of the fermenters, their capacity may be 1000 liters, some of them are having 2000 liters, some of them are having 5000 liters, 10,000 liters, so like that. These vessels are, they are large vessels in size actually, they are sterilized, and these fermenters, these vessels especially, they are having optimum condition for growth of a particular organism. Those are nothing but fermenters, children. So very, very important for one mark question. Fermenters are enclosed and sterilized vessels. They maintains the optimal condition for growth of different type of microorganism. By using these fermenters, we will grow microorganisms in huge amounts. So obviously, if huge amounts of microorganisms are growing, obviously they will produce the products in a huge amount only. So there will be a chances for production of that particular products in industrial scale. So that's why we will use here the fermenters. So this is about the fermenters, children. By using the fermenters, we can get a particular product. Either it is a beverage, either antibiotic, either enzymes or chemicals or bioactive molecule, whatever it may be. We will get that particular product in industrial scale by using these fermenters. What are the fermenters, children? These are enclosed, sterilized, large vessels with optimal condition for growth of a particular organism. So this is about the fermenters, children. Now we are going to discuss about different type of industrial products produced by different type of microorganisms, and we are going to discuss about different type of industrial products. So first of all, fermented beverages. Beverages are nothing but drinks, children. Wine, beer, and as well as whiskey, different type of beverages in generally they are produced from these fermenters. Different type of microorganisms are involved here. So mainly yeast. Here also we are using same thing, yeast only. By using that yeast, we can ferment and we can increase alcohol percentage in that particular cereals, for malted cereals and as well as juices. So by that will be converted into a alcohol.